everybody. Welcome back. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Janice.
And we are Mommy Mentions. And yes, we are still in Black History Month, so this is the second week going in. So we thought we would do, I guess you would say a fun fact? Or kind of like a history fact. Let's just say a Black history fact that we found out, because I didn't know. She knew, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that Rosa Parks was not the first person or African-American person to refuse to give up her seat? It was actually a 15-year-old girl named Claudette Colvin. Mm-hmm. She was the first one 9 months before Rosa Parks.
9 months?
Actually,
I didn't know it was 9 months.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy, right? But yeah, it was 9 months before Rosa Parks actually refused to give up. Right. Refused to give up her seat. But because she was 15, they didn't think she was going to be as reliable because she was young, and she also ended up becoming pregnant at the same time too. So this is it right here. So Rosa Parks, in her defiant act of refusing to give up her seat in December 1955 in Montgomery, Alabama, undoubtedly helped push the civil rights movement forward. 9 months before the heroic incident happened, Claudette Colvin stood up for her right to sit where she pleased on a segregated bus, yet her story was cast aside. Colvin was a 15-year-old resident of Montgomery King Hill neighborhood and attended a segregated Booker T. Washington High School when she was arrested for refusing to give up her seat on a bus in Capitol Heights on March 2nd, 1955. That day, Colvin's class had just talked about the injustice they were experiencing daily under the Jim Crow segregation law. So I guess she was like, she didn't have it.
Right.
She was over.
She was all fired up at school and was like, you know what? I'm not getting off this bus. I'm not.
And you know, it's kind of, what you call it, the fact that they had just talked about that in school. And she said when she got on the bus, she actually remembered telling the bus driver it's her constitutional right to sit where she wants to sit. So she refused to get up.
That's crazy because 15, you're what, a freshman in high school?
Freshman, sophomore, depending on where your birthday falls. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's crazy.
And so she was the first one.
And she was arrested.
She was arrested. She went to jail. All of that happened. It also went to court. So Colvin went to court and continued to push for social justice as one of the 5 plaintiffs in Broader versus Gale case that ruled Montgomery bus segregation unconstitutional. So it went. And it actually, like I said, it went to court, but it kind of just got hushed.
Right.
Because she was 15 years old. The NAACP called word of Colvin's case and considered using the movement to advance their case. But what worked against Colvin, according to her words and other accounts, is that she was too young, too poor, and pregnant. So back then, of course, not only obviously did Black people have to deal with racism, but she got shunned against even by the NAACP because she was young, but because she was pregnant. So it's like they were judging her and they figured that she was not going to fit
the profile of what they wanted,
right,
as far as the movement.
Right. Mm-hmm. And they said that Rosa Parks had the look to actually get the movement going once it happened 9 months later. So she hardly ever told her story when she moved to New York City. In her new community, hardly anyone was talking about the integration. Instead, most people were talking about Black enterprises, Black power, and Malcolm X. Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. I'll add the link at the bottom as well in the comment section below if you guys want to pull it up and actually read about her. If you didn't know that she was actually the first person to refuse to give up her seat before Rosa Parks. It's actually pretty interesting to find out, and actually a pretty interesting read. So we thought we would start off our podcast with doing some Black history.
A little fun fact.
Right. So today our topic is actually going to be about COVID vaccination.
COVID vaccines and... you taking it? I'm not. No, I'm gonna just put that out there. I don't think that I don't think they had enough time to actually like generate the vaccine.
No, that makes sense because I thought they were saying it's going to take so many years.
It takes like at least minimum 6 years.
They cut it down to months.
Right.
It was like rushed.
Right. Folks is getting sick and
everybody's having different side effects, like different issues with it. But then there's some people that are completely fine with it.
Right.
You know. And
but they said that after the second shot, because you have to get 2 shots, they said that after the second shot you're supposed to like feel some type of sick
kind of like flu, flu-like symptoms.
Yeah, like that. But there's been people that have passed away after the second shot, and I'm like, how many have actually passed away? Like, what are you not telling us?
Oh, see, you know what I mean? People have passed away after the second shot. See, I've seen that people had like really bad side effects from the second shot. But it's really from the Moderna. The Moderna one, I've seen for the Moderna that they've had a lot.
Don't make no difference to me whichever one it is.
I haven't. That's the one that I've read because that was the first one that people were given was the Moderna, and then they just started doing the Pfizer too. But a lot of because I was reading on the What to Expect app,
right?
And a lot of mothers are actually getting vaccinated. Girl, a lot of them are getting vaccinated. And some of them are actually pregnant, and some of them are breastfeeding. There was I pulled up a discussion board to kind of look into it to see, you know, this is what's going on, what's trending right now as far as the COVID vaccine. So let me see if pregnant women or mothers that's breastfeeding are actually getting this vaccine. Yeah. And I was actually really surprised how many people were getting this vaccine, and they're saying that they had flu-like symptoms after the second shot, and that one was from the Moderna. Right. That a lot of them said that they got. Some of them got Pfizer, and then they're like, after that, I was completely fine. But it was like it took them 36 to 48 hours to actually like recover and feel better and 100% after the second dose of the vaccine. And they're like, oh, the baby was just fine. That their baby was fine, and that the baby. Someone said that their baby only had went to the restroom and something else, but I'm like, what are the long-term effects?
Right.
Like, is there going to be long-term side effects from that vaccine?
Right.
Because you don't know if it actually passed through your breast milk. You know what I mean?
That and the fact that no one anywhere, no type of company tests on pregnant women.
Nope. I'm about to read that right now too. Go ahead.
So even with other vaccines like the whooping cough vaccine, the flu vaccine, the whatever you want to name vaccine, they don't test on pregnant women. So how are you to say that these vaccines are safe, especially this one that only came out and, you know, it only took months for them to make? How are you going to say that it's safe for pregnant and breastfeeding women when you don't even know? You haven't tested it on pregnant and breastfeeding women. You don't know what the long-term effects are, like you said.
Mm-hmm. And even on the app, What to Expect, I went on there to pull it up to see if they had any information on it. They have a couple of sections on here. It says, can I get the COVID-19 vaccine if I'm pregnant or breastfeeding? Mm-hmm. And it just says, the short answer is just yes. You'll be able to decide whether to receive the vaccine, but unless you're a healthcare worker, it may be a long while before you actually be able to get it. Mm-hmm. But right underneath is another question that says, is the COVID-19 vaccine safe if you're pregnant or breastfeeding? And then it states, vaccine clinical trials typically do not enroll participants who are pregnant or breastfeeding until the vaccine has been shown to be safely tolerated in people who are not pregnant. So pregnant and lactating women are excluded from Pfizer and Moderna COVID-19 vaccine clinical trials, and they are not included in any ongoing trials for vaccines manufactured by other companies. That means there is no firm safety data available to know for sure.
So how are you gonna say it's safe?
Right, to say whether these vaccines are safe for people who are pregnant or breastfeeding. So the fact that they don't have this data,
right,
it's kind of questionable. Like, I would not feel comfortable taking the vaccine. I don't feel comfortable taking a vaccine, period. So, but for the fact that I'm breastfeeding, I really don't want to take the vaccine. And then if I was pregnant, I definitely would not want to be taking the vaccine because you don't know the kind of side effects. And then you sent me something about.
Oh yeah, this lady, she was like on Twitter posting like, oh, vaccines are safe and vaccines and like all this rejoicing over the vaccine, basically.
Because it looked like she was a medical worker, right?
Yes.
Like a healthcare worker.
And she was 14 weeks pregnant. She took the vaccine, and then she took the second vaccine, and then she had a miscarriage at 14 and a half weeks after taking the vaccines. Did she chalk it up to the vaccines? No, she didn't. But it's not, I don't think it's not a coincidence.
I don't think so either. That's my opinion. No judgment if you're deciding to get the vaccine and you're pregnant and you're breastfeeding and decide to get it. It's completely up to you if you decide to do so.
Yeah.
But I just wouldn't feel comfortable. It's just too many questions. And then there's like a lot of people that don't know what to expect on the different discussions saying that, oh, they're so excited to get it. They can pass on the antibodies to the baby. And this, but I'm like,
that's what your breast milk is for in the first place.
But then I'm like, you don't even know what's in that vaccine.
Right. But
like, do you see how people are reacting to this vaccine?
Right.
That are like full of dopes?
One nurse, this black nurse, she ended up getting, is it Bell's palsy? Where your face, like one side of your face just like is paralyzed.
Oh.
So that happened to her.
Kind of when it droops in it.
Yeah. And I was like, that was the first person I saw that got the...
Really?
And I was like, no, thank you. I would say no, thank you first. I don't like shots in general. I'm just... Don't put a needle towards my body and we're good. I don't like shots at all. But to get a vaccine that I don't know anything about... I already don't get the flu vaccine, but I've never had the flu.
Okay. So I never used to get the flu vaccine. Ever. I was like, no, for what? Like, you know... The one time I decided to get the flu vaccine,
you got sick.
I got the flu.
Right. And
I have not gotten the flu vaccine since. And they say like, oh yeah, it depends on the strand, and sometimes you will typically end up with getting the flu depending on the strand, or so that your body can actually fight it. Who wants to get sick if you're getting vaccinated?
Right.
To not get sick. Like, so I haven't got the flu vaccine since, like, you know, but I'm just kind of like, I would just not. Now, I do have family members that ended up getting it. And I understand their reasons of getting it.
I have coworkers that have gotten it too.
They've just had their first dose. And so then they go like in a couple of weeks to get their second dose, I believe. And I just pray for my family members that they don't have any kind of negative or bad side effects from it. Because everybody's body is different, you know. And so that's what we kind of have to remember too, that everybody's body is different, so everybody's body will react different. So there's a lot of people that haven't had any kind of negative, that haven't had any side effects from it at all, but they say it's always the second dose.
But I also heard that if you have, like, one of the things was like, if you have asthma, you shouldn't take it because it can make your asthma worse or something. I got asthma, so I'm exempt.
They say if you have asthma, you shouldn't
That's what I heard. That's what I heard on social media. I know you can't go off of everything on social media, but I heard that one of the things was if you have asthma and you take it, it can cause your asthma to get worse.
See?
And I already can't breathe, so why would I do that to myself?
Okay, so then this is the thing too, because I saw it, and this lady, I think I said this to you, it was like a few weeks back where I sent you where the lady said that she got the vaccine. It was the Moderna. She got it. She's a CNA. She had been a CNA for 25 years. She said she got the vaccine. You know what? I didn't hear if she said it was the first dose or second dose. I'm assuming it was the second dose she got. Because she said she got it. The next day, she wasn't feeling that great. She was having flu-like symptoms, but she still went ahead and went to work. Why are you going to work sick? But
they literally say if you feel like you're having flu-like symptoms, do not come to work.
But okay. She said she still went to work.
Yeah.
And then the third day, she said, or the next day after that, she was just like, she just could not. So she didn't go to work that day. She just couldn't. And then she said by that Thursday or the fourth day, she said her whole body was just shaking.
Oh, the lady that just can't control her body now. Yeah,
she can't control her body at all. And she literally like was shaking when she was telling the story. She said, and that was like after she had got the vaccine. So I haven't followed back. I haven't like followed to see if she has a social media or to check to follow up to see if anything's changed with her. But that's just one instance of it. And then they say that expect to be, I guess, your joints and stuff will hurt.
Yeah. So sores, my mom went to the doctor. I think she went to the doctor, and her doctor was like telling her like, oh, when you get the vaccine, like just, you know, what she say? Make sure that you clear like at least 2 or 3 days because like you're not gonna feel good or something. And the doctor was like, I had the worst headache I've ever had in my life, on top of just like feeling sick and all stuff. And my mom was like, okay, like she didn't want to be like, I'm not getting it, but why would you think that sounds appealing for me to want to take the vaccine if you're telling me that you were sick and you had the worst headache you had in your life for 3 days? Like, why would I want that? I don't understand.
And then people are just saying that they just have flu-like symptoms for that whole time. Like,
either way, I don't want to be sick.
No, I'm just
like,
saying. No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, so
some are mild
like,
and some are extreme.
How come? I just don't understand what are they putting in the vaccine for people to actually end up like getting sick and have flu-like symptoms, you know? And especially if the vaccine is not really protecting you from the virus.
Right. It has no type of like, it literally like you take the vaccine and it's like what? Because it doesn't protect you from getting it. You're still gonna have to wear a mask. Everyone thinks that, oh, I'm gonna take this vaccine and everything's gonna go back to normal. No, that's not how that works. Like at all.
And so, you gotta shut the door because we're gonna hear that. That's fine. Yeah, I don't understand either. How come? I don't know. And everybody has their own reasonings of why they're getting it and stuff. I just don't want to get it because it's just too many questions. Yeah. I was surprised when my family members were getting it, but they wanted to get it, and I support them. And like I said, I just give them up in prayer.
I think a lot of people are getting it too because they're scared.
Yeah. But I don't think that's why my family members are getting it. They're getting it for other reasons as far as why they're getting the vaccine. But I think a lot of people are getting it not just because they're scared, but because they just feel like, oh, this is going to make things go back to normal.
Yeah.
When it's actually not what it's really going to do.
Yeah. Whole other agenda on that one.
Right. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. I think our biggest thing is that we want to talk about was about getting the vaccine while you're pregnant and breastfeeding. Right. Any of you that are watching, if you're currently pregnant right now, are you planning on getting the vaccine? If you have you gotten why? It? And have you already gotten it? What is your stance on it? You know, and if you're breastfeeding, are you planning on getting the vaccine? And what is your stance? Why or why not? We just kind of want to know. We kind of already said what we're doing as far as that goes.
Because we're both still breastfeeding, so
right. And even if I was done breastfeeding, I honestly would not get the vaccine still. I'm just gonna social distance like I've been doing. Wear a mask, take my vitamins.
Unfortunately, I can't social distance. I can't social distance. I go to work every morning.
Well, besides that,
but we get tested once a week, so.
Besides that, like, I don't be doing no big old social outings type things. Like, I still social distance, wear my mask and stuff like that, because there's people out here that just wilding and not wearing no mask,
right?
Having big old parties,
clubs is open again, y'all.
I'm sorry, but that's another reason why numbers are kind of out of control too. Like, I just feel like if people just wear a mask and chill out for a little bit, I feel like things would just kind of get a little bit better. But I don't know. That's just kind of that's kind of a touchy topic, like, because some people are really like for it, and they have such a strong stance, and they really feel like because you got vaccinated, like you're gonna be safe, or you're like letting the other people be safe. But then it's like when you do more research, it's saying like, oh, it's technically not gonna
do anything.
It's not gonna actually prevent you from getting it. Right. But if you do get it, they say you won't get it as bad.
But when people get the vaccine, so I guess if you get the vaccine, you don't have to get tested for like 90 days. But if you get the vaccine and you test, you still test positive for COVID. Did you know that? You still test positive.
If you get the vaccine?
If you get the vaccine.
Oh, you mean you get?
Yeah, like if you take the vaccine and then you test like a while after that, whatever, because it's still in your system. Like the vaccine technically is in your system, like, or the COVID is still in your system. You test for COVID, like say you got to go to work, whatever, you test for COVID, it's going to show positive.
Because you got
it's in your body.
Well, you know, I wonder if that's how it is with like the flu shot,
right? But I don't know if they're counting those numbers towards positives, even though you're not like sick anymore. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I don't know how that's working, but
I don't know, but I just know personally, I knew a bunch of people that ended up getting it. I know some people that actually passed away from it, or heard some people that passed away from it. So I know that COVID is real and it's out there, and it's something serious. I don't know if all the numbers are accurate or if they're not, or what they show on the news. But my thing is that regardless, my thing is, if the numbers are real or if they're not, y'all should be more like, okay, we need to chill because these numbers are out of control if that's the exact numbers. But even if they're not, it should be something where it's just like, just because your response to COVID wasn't bad doesn't mean the next person's response to COVID is not going to be as bad, because everybody's body is different. Everybody has different issues. Everybody's body is not going to respond the same to it.
Yeah, not everyone has the same immune
please
system.
just make sure that you're being responsible. Wear a mask, social distance, and wash your hands. Like, be clean, basically. Like,
wash your hands.
I'm just saying, like, you know, like,
they teach you that young. Wash your hands.
You know, but this is some.
Side note for the ones that are not taking the vaccine, please take your vitamins. They don't push this enough. Take your vitamins. Eat healthy. Drink water. Literally, it'll help your immune system. Sea moss. What did we talk about last time? Sea moss, elderberry, vitamin D, all that good stuff. Please take your vitamins. Vitamin C, calcium, prenatals. They have liquid prenatals. If you can't take pills, just take your vitamins. If you don't want to take the vaccine, but you're still nervous about COVID, just take your vitamins. As well as social distancing and being responsible and wearing your mask and all that good stuff.
That's about it that we have for this episode as far as that goes. Like, we just want to touch on this in regards to the vaccine and give our opinion.
And we want you guys' input as well. So you can hit us up at our email at mommy.mentions@gmail.com.
And our Instagram is mommy.mentions.
And our Twitter is mommymentions.
Hit us up on there. Send us a DM. Send us a message, or even comment below. Please share our videos, subscribe to our channel. We're going to be talking about all kind of different things.
We want suggestions on what we should talk about, what you guys want to hear, what questions you have. And if we can't answer it, we'll definitely look it up and get some good answers for you guys.
And we're going to have some guests on here too soon. So keep an eye out for that. Like, follow us. Like we said, we're also going to do our merch that we're going to be dropping as well. So look, follow us on Instagram. Once again, it's at mommy.mentions for our IG. Follow us on there to see exactly what merch we're going to be dropping, and then let us know what you guys like. Yeah, right. So once again, our email is
mommy.mentions@gmail.com.
Instagram is
mommy.mentions,
and then Twitter is
mommymentions.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please share, subscribe to our channel, and we will see you guys next week.
See you guys. Stay healthy.
Peace.